you very much. We are up and running. Ni kama hii conversation tumengojea for so long. Tumepostpone siku ngapi? Live siku tatu. Paulo siku tatu. Yes. Tumepostpone 3 days, but now we are here. Leo tunataka kuchambua, tunachambua finance bill ya 2025. Ya 2024 hatukusoma ilikuja late and it brought in a lot of reactions sana. So this one tuko nayo sahi and ndio tunataka kuangalia leo. Na before tuanze hii conversation, nimeambiwa kwanza niko na sponsors. Now ndio nita mention. We have among our top sponsors wenye Masia amenipea ni Nyeri Computers. Nyeri Computers wanauza laptop, wanauza simu, wanauza vitu zote zenye zinahusiana na laptop, simu, electronics. Na wako Kimathi Street new Nyeri near Safaricom shop. Watu wengi wanajua Safaricom shop mahali iko, na huko ndio utapata hizo vitu zote. Wako na bags za laptop, simu, mouses za simu, anything. Unaweza hapo pia consult about ile computer unaweza unataka. They will also give you suggestions on what to buy, what not to buy according to why you need the laptop. So if you can't reach them or if you can't go to their physical shop, unaweza piga simu 0706 890 418 ama 0726 807 801. Nyeri Computers iko pale Kimathi Street. Ni Muthaiga Gardens wenye wamekuwa kiwatch our previous shows ya kwanza, ya pili, ya tatu, I think na 4. Tumefanyia Muthaiga Gardens Resort, iko pale Brookside, Muiga Road, Chaka, Nyeri County. Na huko ni place unaweza enda saa zenye weekend ama hata weekday. Saa zenye unataka place hakuna makelele, place kumenyamaza, that is the place to be. Hakunanga watu wengi, it's away, it's out of town, na ni Kieni kuna kwa kumenyamaza. So you can visit Muthaiga Gardens. Our third sponsor ni Brand Quench. Iko tu hapa town. Do you need more visibility for your brand, unataka business card, UV printing, engraving, anything to do with printing and everything, Brand Quench is your place to go. Na unaweza wapigia simu kwa namba 0724 099 311. Utaongea na mtu anaitwa Seth na atakusort. The fourth sponsor ni Candice Farm. Candice Farm ni farm iko na kuku na nguruwe. You want eggs, Candice Farm is your place to go. You want pork ni nyama ya nguruwe. Ama nyama ya nguruwe inaitwa nini? Nyama ya nguruwe inaitwa nini? Inaitwa pork. Actually next week, hiyo weekend ingine, they will be watakuwa na nguruwe fresh, wanauzanga nyama fresh, wanachinja wanauza. It goes for 550 per kgs. That is kama inadeliviwa Nyeri. Wana deliver na 550 plus delivery fee. Or you can call them to place your order 0710 551 838. Au utabook na utasaidika. At the same number unaweza piga if you want eggs na ni mayai ya kienyeji. Kama unataka nyama ya kuku, they still have it. So the number is 0710. Masi ameniambia nirudie 0710 551 838. Uko ni Candice Farm. So today I was supposed to have 3 guests. Ama hii discussion tulikuwa tukue nayo na watu 3. Lakini msichana mwenzangu sijui ameenda wapi. Lakini we will still continue, tutaendelea. My name is Wahu. Ni mimi ninakuleteanga issue every Thursday, Baraza la Gen Z. We are coming up with another program very soon. Enye pia itakuwa involve a lot of things. Na leo niko na vijana barubaru. Okay, ni wazee lakini vijana. Na hawa ni Gen Z, wako katikati ya Gen Z na millennials. So nitaanzia na mwenye ako karibu na mimi, introduce and then utajiintroduce.
Okay, thank you very much. Kwanza pali kutoka pale nimelelewa. Najua kwanza tunakaribishana. Mimi nimefika huku. This is not my first time being here. Wacha to welcome Mr. Paul kwa sababu ndio mgeni, ndio mtoto. At least atuambie jambo.
Feel in studio.
Okay. Today I'm delighted to be here. I'm Paulo Ndericho from Nyeri County, and also I interact with other youth in our country, and the matter on the table is our concern, because as the young people of this nation, we want to be more focused on matters of our country, because what we witnessed last year during the maandamano on 25th of June, we lost a lot of lives of our young people. And to us, the only thing that we can do to solve this is to have earlier engagement. And that is why we are here. And I think tutachambua maneno and we will be on the right track. Thank you.
Asante sana Paulo. Sasa jiintroduce wewe mzee.
Okay, thank you very much once again. Brown Matenge wa Wangope. Nyumete itura ria Muthwaini dini wa wodi ya Kamakwa Mukoro, where I'm an aspiring member of County Assembly, and I am delighted to be back here the show. Na wahu ni vizuri ningekuambia you're looking amazing. Unakaa fiti. Najua kuna mtu amekuambia hivyo leo, and I know I need to make sure that your evening iko sawa. Unakaa fiti. So let us delve into the issue of today. Si ati napenda kukuchocha, ni reality, but anyway, wahu I know let me first start by apologizing to our fans, our viewers. Last week we were to be here, but at some point we were not able to come and discuss about the NGCDF, the NGAF, that is the National Government Affirmative Action Fund, and the Oversight Bill. And today, since our topic is more of finance bill, I think hatutaongea mambo ya NGAF na nini, but just allow me to mention something about the Oversight Fund. Oversight Fund ya senators. Mimi personally I have an issue with it because tulikuwa tumeenda pale public participation pale Nyeri House, and at some point, well, you could feel generally the public was haitaki kuona NGCDF ikitolewa, but on the other hand, in terms of constitutionally, we cannot have the people who are supposed to be oversighting, that they are the same people who will be supposed to implement, who will be implementing. Because at some point tukiangalia these committees, the CDF committees, unapata the appointees wanatoka from the MP. So at some point, this actually they are not nominated, they are just appointed. So at some point, I feel we need to set a bar such that we ensure that this the patron, who according to the constitution is the one supposed to oversight them, and at some point indirectly implement using with the committee. So I think that is something that we need to work on. But oversight fund ya Senate, it is a very good fund and I truly support it. But now with the current situation that Kenyans are in, I think it is not the right time to have an oversight fund, because right now we are 14 years since the new constitution, and 10 years since we started implementing the new constitution. And let me tell you, so far we've had like from here in Nyeri we've had 2 senators and they've been oversighting, and I believe this is not the right time to look for those funds. And kidogo mi najua these senators, especially the ones that are in this the current assembly, that is the Senate, the upper house, I am sure they knew whatever they were coming to involve themselves in. So we truly, it is a fund that will be beneficial, but at some point this is not the right time. So it brings us to now the topic yenye tunaingia finance bill. But ni vizuri wahuni kuambie, this week has been a very challenging week, because in this week I've attended burials of 2 young people, and at some point there are things, nimesikia uko na sponsors. Those sponsors, at least how I wish those sponsors can also come in and tackle matters pertaining mental health, because one of the young man tulikuwa tumeenda, I was there on Mambolezi on Tuesday, alikuwa nazikwa jana. He's a guy from Kamako Mukaro, and unaangalia the challenges zenye wanapitia, it is all brought about by mental health. Leo I remember kwa social media, last week we saw this young man, and today actually umuthi nigia ritho riria konere itekire tondu wa mwana kiosho, a very young guy, 22 years old, and ule alijirusha chaka. At some point hiyo story ilituguza, and I talked to a friend of mine who has an interest in Thego River, because it is around Thego River. Chaka town is in Thego River. Tukaenda yesterday, we had a meeting with the DCC, Kieni East Sub-County, and we are working on a program of ensuring, because matters on suicidal cases on that side zimekuwa ziko on the rise. So we've discussed on programs, tunatafuta counselors, and I want to shout out to Dr. Irene Kamodho. I believe you. She's yeah, she's your classmate. She is your classmate, or she was your classmate? She was my yeah, juu ningejiuliza. Yeah, she is your friend. Ningejiuliza yeye ni daktari wewe. Anyway, I really want to shout out to that girl. Na tuzidi, and bado on the same note, I am not in also a good mood, because on Saturday we'll be burying a relative, a very close relative of mine, my shosho, not my paternal or maternal, but a relative, a shosho. I call her shosho, and at some point she was a jovial soul, na tutakuwa tunamlaza on Saturday pale Kinunga Stadium, na si wote tunasema hii ni mambo ya Mungu, na mambo ya Mungu haina, hatuwezi watoa makosa. Asante. Unajua Paulo Lawi anasema kitia.
So nasikia kitupeleka na tour venye ametembea. Ni sawa, tutakufanyia campaign. Yes. Sawa mheshimiwa. Si ndio?
Hata nimesikia Paulo akisema ile.
Paulo hataki kiti though.
Paulo nilisikia akisema budget ile yake kubwa ni ya viatu. Hata mimi naona budget yangu sasa ni hata nitakuwa na finance bill yangu ya kwangu, ndio niangalie budget estimates ni kuwa naongeza ya viatu, kwa sababu itabidi nianze kuzunguka niongeleshe watu, so that, and I will want to urge our parents, let us listen to the young people. There is something they know, and whatever happened last year was just a spark, and hopefully that we are going to work together with our parents, listen to us, support us, and we are actually going to deliver this country to where we want it to be.
Yes, actually aniita kijana hapa, lakini for me and him, yeye kijana, lakini sasa mimi naona nikikuwa. Yes, I'm just humble. So Wahu, allow me first of all also to pass my greetings from my family. Okay. My wife, who is a pastor. Nikikosa kufikisha hizo salamu hapa, sitaweza kufika huko nyumbani.
Nimesalimika.
She's called Pastor Faith. Nimesalimika. And aliniambia nikusalimie.
Ni mimi nasikia. Umesikia aje? Ameniambia nikusalimie.
Yes, pass my greetings from my family. Okay. In a nutshell, Wahu, last week we were to have a debate on the NGCDF.
Yes, sure.
And before we tackle on finance bill, allow me to touch maybe on one or two on matters, the public participation that was being carried out in various constituencies in our country, and matters NGCDF, Senate Oversight Fund, and GAF. So the situation in our country, Kenyans want to feel the fund that is directly being channeled to their services. Lois can be my witness. In the hall that we were, many people had come to support NGCDF. But to their shock, they found that the bill entailed the three funds together. Meaning, if you said yes, you supported the three funds. That is the NGCDF, Senate Oversight, and GAF. If you said no, you said no to the three funds.
Oh my God.
You see, and to me, that curtailed the liberty of Kenyans, because every person have a reason to choose on what is better for him or her.
Sure.
So, for the Senate, because many people were against the Senate Oversight Fund. Just a brief example. The senator, every senator in our country, receives 830 per month for office maintenance.
That's true.
The time you are vying for the senatorial seat, you are very much informed that my work is oversight. So the 830 you are getting from taxpayers to maintain your office, you should directly channel that amount to help in catering the role that you vied for. So Kenyans are asking themselves, so you are a senator, we employ you, we pay you, we fuel your cars, everything you get from our taxes. Then you come and create another fund here called Senate Oversight Fund. The Senate Oversight Fund, they are saying it is to help them in matters oversighting. Because the argument the senators are having is that I have to move from ward to ward, inspecting the projects that the county government have implemented are okay. But you are given 830 per month to maintain your office. So I think in Kenya, these people are taking Kenyans to be more gullible, if I can say, because there is no way we can keep on duplicating everything. Last year, 2024, I think 2024, there was a tussle between the upper and the lower house. The Senate were arguing that NGCDF is unconstitutional. And the MPs were saying NGCDF should remain. So to me, it is not that the MPs does not know that they are creating the Senate Oversight Fund, but they want to create the Senate Oversight Fund as a token for the senators to allow NGCDF to continue being there. So, and I'm asking myself, because the proposed budget on Senate Oversight Fund is over 500 million. Over 500 million on Senate Oversight Fund. Now we are coming on Finance Bill 2025-2026.
Yes.
What will make Kenyans trust the government, which is very much talking of austerity measures, when they are creating funds which are not directed to Wanjiku. So that is my question, and I think that matter on NGCDF and that bill ingekuja ikiwa different. Kila fund ikuje peke yake for Kenyans to choose on which to support. But because hiyo ilienda, we'll try as much as possible to work or actually on this, but on that public participation that was carried out, because it is not publicized in the Kenya Gazette. We'll try as much as possible within our means and as Kenyans to try the next step, tujaribu kama tuone tutasikizwa. kama hatutasikizwa tutaendelea tu kukasirika.
Mtaja kukasirika.
Tutaendelea tu kukasirika.
The
moment these people continue not inclining their ears to us as Kenyans, tutaendelea kukasirika.
But it's a good thing
Yes.
that in your position umeoa pastor,
yes.
pastor,
yes.
and you're still standing and speaking about Gen Zs and matters pertaining this country.
Yes.
I think I like that. So I have so many people watching. I have Leila Leni ana watch, Lois Nyaguthi ana watch, na nimeona Lincoln Jogu pia yeye ana watch. Kuna mtu amenitext anaitwa Isaac Mbogo amesema nisalimie. Sasa hizo masalimika sasa. Yeah, Ndi Makanini is watching. So let us dive into today's topic.
Yes.
Finance bill ikitajwa, kila mtu akili yake inapiganga maandamano ya June. Najua maandamano ya last year June ilikuja day after my birthday. It was on 19th or 20th. 19th. Actually 18th. So immediately ukitaja finance bill, kichwa ya kila mtu inagonganga maandamano, kukasirika. Wewe Lawi, personally, ukisikia finance bill, akili yako inakuambia nini? Ama where does your mind go?
Well, when finance bill is mentioned, what do I think? One, basing on the current or the most recent situations, one, mimi ukumbuka the maandamano ama Gen Z protest that happened, and it is good to mention, na ni vizuri. I congratulate my brother hapa Paulo. There is something we are doing under his umbrella, young people Kenya Forum, where we remember one of our own young man who was shot here in Nyeri during the Gen Z protest. He was actually shot on his leg. Yeah,
I saw that post.
Yeah, and right now his mobility has been affected because he's on crutch. The leg was amputated, so right now he's using, are they crutches or clutches? They are clutches, so he's on clutches and unajua shida ni yako, na ndio maana I think of late umekosa utakangi kuitwa, hujaitaka kuitwa Purity, juangi unaitwa Purity ama Purity. Anyway, so I remember that young man. This guy right now, he has a family, three kids and a young wife, and on his depending on his situation, because he was in the matatu industry. That is the first thing that clicks in my head, because right now I think now we are somewhere because we've paid school fees for the kids. Sasa tunajaribu tuone venye he can get that. We are supposed to be having a fundraiser very soon, so that we can see how we can get a prosthetic leg, the artificial leg, at least to you kijana, hata kama hatuwezi fanya so much, anaweza pata aweze kurudi kutembea. Hii tutaleta. Thank you very much. Na ndio maana wahu mimi usema you have a very clean heart. Sijui mambo ugeuka inakuaje. But anyway, Finance Bill 2024, that is what people remember, and this is when actually we awakened the young people awakened the current that is why even you'll see people saying they want young blood, because at some point I remember in government there is someone who once said the governance structure in Kenya is opaque, and truly I think we are still there. But at some point I remember there is this through, is it article 201 and 2010 and 201 and 210, it clearly talks about transparency and openness, and this is one of the things that young people have decided to engage in. I remember sometimes back, I think hiyo ni ile wakati wa huu, na tuseme mtu kama Paulo, enzi zenu, Amos Kimunya alikuwa anakuja na briefcase, mnaona tu kibriefcase kimekuja, unaona ile coat of arms, inaitwa coat of arms, na sawa, unaona hiyo simba ya Wahu but ni coat of arms. Then baadaye you remember hata the fourth president Uhuru Kenyatta, when he was a minister of finance, that is what they were doing. But right now young people, I included, we now engaging ourselves in the budget making process, and we really want to know everything. And just to mention, sometimes, and I just want to enlighten few of us who do not understand the budget cycle. I want to remind you that the budget cycle does not happen in May. It starts in August. In August, where wanajiita our MDAs, they now bring the budget estimates. We have the budget outlook and review paper, where now zile yale mambo yenye yalikuwa in the last financial year wanajaribu kuona how they can review it. Then after that we go to the fiscal strategy paper, and now later we go to the finance bill. So at some point, as young people, we just want to be in this and ensure transparency. And the reason as to why, and now let us just get into the finance bill 2025. I believe and I don't know why this is happening, and I don't know why the government is sponsoring young people or bloggers, let me call them bloggers, to say that it is a no taxes whatever. And truly, when you go through the budget estimates, things that are like the things that are in this estimate, at some point zinafanya hata sisi like young people tukae ni kama tunachukia our country, and we know we are very patriotic as young people, because ukiweza angalia like right now, I saw somewhere in that in the budget estimates, we see a 2.3 billion facelift of an office. I really tend to wonder, is it that hizi ofisi mtu anakalia in 1 year inaharibika ama nini? I really wonder why we have to do this facelift. So cause ukiangalia 2.3 billion, for example, angalia Ukunyeri, at some point we dual match, we have our wage bill is very high, so unapata like whatever goes to development is around 2.4. Ukiona 2.3 billion inaenda kwa facelift of an office, this tells you like where our priorities are very wrong, because ukiangalia that 2.3 billion is a whole development budget for Nyeri County. So, and that is why sisi tunaumia. This other thing nilikuwa nimeona, and kwangu inaniumiza kwa sababu as a young person we want to delve into business, and at some point I have friends, 1 or 2 friends who've joined the animal feeds industry. Watu wameamua kutengeneza chakula ya mifugo, and at some point they also being struck. Imagine now, before we have been in a zero rated, the animal what are they called, the product they have been zero rated, and right now the government is proposing that this animal feeds, or the raw materials, that's the word I was looking for, raw materials now will move from zero rated to tax exempt goods. And at some point tunaona at our like now, because we've been told agriculture is the backbone of this country, agriculture, livestock goes hand in hand. So unapata now we are shifting from zero rated products to tax exempt. It means at some point the profit margins kuwa kidogo, in the sense that a zero rated good in hile, like I can go and reclaim, nikiweza nunua kitu tuseme hizo akina maize jam, hizi wheat bran, nikiweza zinunua zikiwa na tax, at some point I can get back when I'm filing my returns to claim them. Right now when they come to the tax exempt, inakuwa ngumu kwa sababu you cannot now reclaim, you cannot claim. So at some point now, as the manufacturers wanakuwa na shida, and that is why now their profit margins itakuwa kidogo. So it means that we are going to increase the production cost, and with that now we reduce the profit margins. Tukifika hapo sasa mambo inakuwa mbaya, because you see now they'll either increase the prices of these animal feeds, na pali tumefika, ukiweza angalia kama pali nimetoka in Muthwaini nikiweza fanya just an average, unapata one person akona around 5 liters, anauza 5 liters of milk. So nikiangalia 5 liters of milk, surely it cannot, it's kwa sababu mtu anajiuliza ninapata, if a liter cost 50 bob, it means in a day I'm earning 250 shillings. So at some point adding 250 shillings, ni mtoto nitapeleka shule. Say the governance structure of this nation at some point is opaque, because we should be, these are the bare minimums we should be looking at. Hiyo ni kama kusema like we are now depriving is a basic need in terms of asubuhi watu watakunywa chai ama jioni, and you know we have even these other products zenye ziko that use milk products, so ni kumaanisha bei ya vitu zitaenda juu, so at some point tuko pabaya. And how I wish, I thought when the young people we tulitokea in 2024, I thought that there will be that change. Unfortunately, this change ilikuja ikuwe ya a certain group of people, and that is why we thought we saw a cabinet secretary. We now have a new cabinet secretary. We expected that we'll see changes, but at some point this is all public, zinaitwa public relations, this is PR, kwa sababu sasa ukianza kutuambia that there are no taxes, whereas sisi wenyewe tumeamua kuingia kwa hii mambo ya budget, and we can clearly see that things, mambo ya taxes ziko, and then you like we get sponsored hashtags that hakuna, there are no added tax. I really wonder, and since we are patriotic Kenyans, we will work towards seeing that this nation is a better one.
Yeah, I like the fact that where we are right now, this and millennials. Gen Zs na millennials, they're arguing from a point of knowing. They, most of them, if not all of them, they know the process of budget making. They know, like they have a lot of apps. They're in spaces where wanaweza access whatever document they want. And if they can't read, like the document we are looking into today, it's 25 pages. Nilisoma yote, but there's a person, kuna mtu mwingine yeye hatasoma, we just feed it somewhere na itamsomea na imwambie briefly what it is saying. So I like the fact that people are now even interested in public participation. I saw you guys, ulikuwa wewe na akina some other akina Zuena when you went to the county assembly.
Yeah, we've actually, it's good to mention about the Nyeri youth sector.
Yeah.
Basically, we are young people that one, ensuring the implementation of the Nyeri youth policy, and since we have a very soft spot on the budget making process, but that is also one of the things that we have been dwelling on. And recently we've had a session with the county executive committee member wa treasury, that is our finance ya Nyeri County. We had a session with him, and this was because we at some point when the budget cycle is happening, tukiwa in the last stage where we now had the county assembly and the county government of the ward specific fund, we've been demanding that we need a program based public participation. This is to ensure that easy ward specific funds zinakuwa utilized. Some of the things that we do, because we've had reports, unapata most of the things that ziko, but at some point now the MCAs, because they have the ward specific fund, wanapeleka vitu like Mr. Robert, though we had a session and he really committed that we're going to have engagements. He gave us the goodwill and said the department can be having reports ya kuchambua. We review on whatever is happening. This is what was proposed by just the general public. This is what has been offered. We are going to be having we are actually advocating for a youth directorate that is in the Nyeri youth policy, that this is going to ensure that we have a youth director, because right now the department of the youths, the department has been merged to gender, youth and sports. Have few director, we have a director in gender, but we do not have a director in youth, so we wanted for that directorate. So yeah, so we took our board. So we are really intentional in terms of ensuring the implementation of the Nyeri Youth Policy and also the budget, especially in our county, because things on the national figure where we've not worked on the county. So that is why we're beginning on the county. And let me say right now, was calling and he was asking me how they can have a youth sector working group in Trans Nzoia. So it means people have started feeling whatever it might not be that big, but the impact, we are very sure that the impact will be beneficial not only to ourselves but to the general public of Nyeri County.
Last week Baton ulikuwa na a physical, ilikuwa
It was actually a meeting of Young People Kenya Forum. That is a forum advocating.
When did you start that forum?
Barely 1 month ago. Yes, it's barely 1 month ago.
Yeah, that's
and
nice.
Together we amplify the voices of the young people in our nation, because the belief we have is this, that the more I'm informed, the more I'll be able to use that. In many parents, in some meetings, in some matangas, Vine, I'm actually supporting 100%.
Na mbona unisupport?
You've not told me that you are Vine.
Sikia vile huyu anajifanya ajui.
You've not told me that you are Vine, but because
time yako imeisha. Naongea na Paulo.
There is my thinking. Wahoo. Here is my thinking. So, for and implement what we've been telling others to implement.
Yeah.
Because our country have got very great policies as to why there were protests last year. It is because government thought that the people are not more informed. But we've got a generation, before you utter anything, before you any new taxes, the president and his bloggers, we are not bringing any new taxes. But here is the reasoning. For the past 2 years, they've never met any. As at now, we've a fiscal deficit of over 700 billion. And from last year, our budget, actually I'm saying our budget 100 billion. Yes. And because we have a deficit of 700 billion, there's a reasoning I want us Kenyans to have. And I hope our leaders are reasoning to us, because we want them to come and engage with us. Sure. Yes, you are saying we don't have any new taxes. How are we going to meet this deficit that we have of 700 billion? Especially, Mr. Bandi is saying that they are working more on tax administration. Hii inaenda kwa watu wenye wameajiriwa. Hii inaenda kwa watu wenye wameajiriwa.
Okay.
Those who are employed and the employees.
Yeah.
So there is one so there is one green flag in it. When we come to pay it, when we come to pay pay of pay, I think 32.5, and there is another one of 35.5.
Yeah.
But here is the green flag on matters pay. So when there is a relief tax on pay, but it is based this way, the tax relief, the total of your pay, that you are to pay there is not the total amount of your gross salary, the total amount of your pay tax that you have to pay. You know, hii ni economy kidogo, but niko na knowledge kidogo hata kama sio sana. The total amount of your pay, there will be tax relief on that, but not on the total amount of your gross salary. So I think that is a green flag. The red flags may be many. We'll identify them, but let me just give a chance to my friend. Yes.
Something that has really stood out for me when I was going through this 25-page document is the fact that young people, squeezy, we are earning money from our social medias. TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, na wenye pia wanafanya freelancing. And we'll have to be taxed even that money yenye una earn kwa TikTok. That is as if that is not even enough. Now KRA will have access to our M-Pesa. They'll have access to my bank account. So does that mean hadi mtu mwenye amemaliza shule last year na ameingia freelance immediately, like freelance ni ile online writing or something, right? That means huyo mtoto ameanza kutaksiwa hata kama hana ID.
So sasa that is when Kenyans will start feeling the hitch. Okay? So it is very much broad, in as much as all over social media there is hii kitu inaendelea, there is no tax, and I had CS Bandi on Citizen TV saying that they are trying to raise about 25 to 30 billion, and I was like, so you know hii kitu hata shida yake ni inafanya kwa ikue ngumu kabisa kuelewa. So we are asking the government, we hope the engagement will be more better and they will listen to us and we will come into terms. What are we to zero rate? What are we not to zero rate? Because at the end of the day, the point at which the country is, like everybody is feeling the heat.
True.
And because we don't have any other Kenya, let us come into terms. Let us listen to each other and to our leaders. Wacha wakuje waelezee watu hizi vitu. Because hii kitu hata inafaa kuelezewa na every language. Kila mtu aelewe. Hata Kikuyu. Because these terms that they are using here, our parents hawezi understand hizi vitu. And they are in the mashinani and they are the ones when you watafeel. There was also I think on farm inputs, I think on coffee, I think on avocado.
We'll get there.
They are there.
I have that question. Ndio tukuje kwa Lawi. Lawi as nina shout out watu wenye that imesemekana KRA wataanza kuingia hadi kwa M-Pesa. But before then, just hold on. Our sponsors today are Nyeri Computers Tech Future. Na wako pale Kimathi Street near Safaricom shop. Naona Masi akiniambia wewe kwa nini hausemi sponsors? So Nyeri Computers wanauzanga laptops, wanauzanga simu, wanauzanga gadget, chargers, power banks, everything to do with simu and laptops and everything. And one thing I really love about Nyeri computers, kuna ile time msee anafikanga I really need a laptop for a particular reason. So you go there with your reason and they will tell you which is the best laptop to use. Ukihitaji simu, uko na a certain budget, just go there and tell them what you want and they will watakusort. So their number 418 kifungo mugwanja kifungo ithathatu 807 801. Lawi amesema niseme na Kikuyu 2 inyanya kifungo mugwanja inyanya kifungo imwe. We also have Muthaiga Gardens. Muthaiga Gardens is a place where you want to go away for over the weekend. Hautaki watu wakusumbue nini nini. Kuna spacious parking, kuna rooms. Ukitaka kwenda kukula kuna taka chakula mzuri. In fact, they have very sweet beef. Wanapikanga beef vizuri sana. So Muthaiga Garden Resort iko pale Brookside Muiga along Muiga Chaka Road. That is in Kieni constituency. Ukienda huko utawapata. Our other sponsor is Brand Quench. Brand Quench ni wanafanya kazi ya printing. Do you want anything printed? Do you want your bottles, zinaitwa ni carrier bags, pens, books? Kuna wenye wanatakanga notebooks zikiwa zimeandikwa majina zao. They are doing that. They are offering, they can do business card, they do UV printing, and they do engraving and everything else. If you need their services, they also do banners. If you need their services, unaweza ongea na Seth kwa namba 07, kwa namba yake ni 0724 099 311 0724 099 311. Kanda is Farm nao wako pale Jengo on your way to Muiga along Nyeri Nyahururu Highway, place inaitwa Jengo. Kanda is Farm is a farm, huko kuna kuku, kuna nguruwe, so ukitaka nyama fresh ya nguruwe, Saturday hiyo ingine they will be watakuwa wanachinja nguruwe, so you order 1 kg goes at 550 and they deliver in Nyeri town. If you want nyama, if you want mayai, ukitaka kuku wanakuchinjia, you can call them on 0710 551 838 0710 551 838 au what. Ukitaka hizo services zote, Masi pia atakuwa na upload. If you go to our different pages utaziona. Na also I want to give this chance to Lawi, between a mattress, M-Pesa, na your bank account, where will you now, where are we heading to? There's a friend of mine anaitwa Muragawa Modern Furniture. I know you know Muragawa Modern Furniture. Everybody anajua Muragawa Modern Furniture. One day I was doing an interview with Murage. The first time I did him an interview, and Murage was telling me hakuwa na simu na hakuwa na bank account. Yeye alikuwa kitanda hapa nyuma. Sinakumbuka zile bed za kitambo zilikuanga na neti. Kama by 6 kako na neti hapa nyuma. So nikaenda kusema kurarua. Alikuwa amerarua hapo nyuma, hapo ndo alikuwa anaweka pesa zake. Akiuza viti, akitengeneza msee kiti anaweka hapo. Mwisho deshi ya besho ni kuioshe hilo. Hata yeye hakujua nani aliingia kwake kukaibiwa. So where are we heading to now with these new proposed bills?
Umeniuliza swali ngumu na bado rahisi. Sasa naweka pesa yangu either kwa M-Pesa or bank account is because that in whatever business that I'm doing, I'll be able to transfer money from point A to B. And at some point kitambo kama ungekuwa na access loan, ulikuwa unataka ku access loan, walikuwa na kuitisha bank statement and nowadays people banks have even or financiers or microfinances, they've shifted from bank accounts and they're even actually giving you loans through M-Pesa statements. And this is because M-Pesa has become at some point it is very efficient in terms of if I need to send money from a bank account, I need to go to the bank account so that I can send money. But recently they joined the M banking ile ya kutransfer, and one for me where we are going to or where this nation is going to, I think the next thing watu sasa tutaanza kurudi kwa zile enzi za kuweka pesa kwa chini ya mattress ama huko kwenye wahu alikuwa anaweka nyuma ya net. Ama umesema ni wewe ama ni Murage? Oh, watu watarudi huko kuweka pesa hivyo, because you see at some point now kuna hizi transaction costs zenye we are incurring, and at some point we are always like let us just incur those costs, but now when now we start taxing this it means the transaction cost zinaenda juu, so meaning at some point you incur another expense. So utaona mtu even those in business now will be doing cash on delivery, and people now even ukiweza angalia hata huku Nyeri town, because I've interacted with a few especially these small scaled enterprises, watu wametoa hata hizi tills, wametoa hizi pay bills, watu wametoa na ni kwa sababu unapata nao KRA, watu wa KRA wameanza kuzunguka. And by the way, let me be honest with you people, it is not that people hate paying taxes. The challenge that they have we are having is now one, the transparency and the expenditure that is happening with the government. For example, you'll see a fleet of, for example, president, minister, unapata akienda mahali anaenda na gari almost 40 something vehicles, anaenda na ndege. So this opulence that has been there, this is what that is challenging. And kidogo imenikumbusha sometimes juzi tu nikipitia on my social media, I remember there is an article nilikuwa nasoma, and someone from Vietnam was just trying to compare Kenya and Vietnam, na alikuwa nasema ati Kenya is not that we lack money, the challenge is that we have an absence of long-term vision and dominance of short-term gain. And at some point this has been imeonyeshwa na the leaders that we are having, especially in this country. And this person was trying to show us that how he was trying to compare Vietnam with Kenya, and he was saying in Vietnam or in Singapore, you will see their leaders there will be in office at 5 a.m. so that they can execute whatever they're supposed to do. But some of the leaders, or most of the leaders in Kenya, will be in the office at 5 a.m. so that they can work out on their speech, kukuja kudanganya watu. So that's are the kind of things and on the same post they were just trying to tell us one of the things or Vietnam is on a population of around 100 million. For us, we are over or above 50 million. And this guy was saying that the key indicator in terms of economically is power or electricity. And this is why, and he was trying to tell us that at some point the leadership in Vietnam, they really focused on energy or electricity stability, and he was trying to argue push this idea like at some point some of the investors or most investors will not want to invest in a place that electricity is flickering, ati leo stima ziko kesho haziko. So he was trying to even show the capacity that we have in Vietnam. They have around 70 gigawatts and here in Kenya we have 4 gigawatts. To the finance bill, unapata like I think sometimes I was reading in one of the newspapers and they was telling us that we've had 42% of the foreign investors wamepotea Kenya. and around 6,000 foreign investors wametoka from the Nairobi Stock Exchange. So this tells you that at some point we have a challenge, and how I wish that we can control our debt management, and more so our expenditures. And also now that the PS where energy comes from this county, would want him to actually, that is the biggest task that we can give him, is to work on the energy or electricity stability in this nation. If at least we can increase that stability, at some point we'll see these investors coming to Kenya, and this, when we see investors coming to Kenya, it means that at some point we create jobs for our young people, because if I have an industry hapo, kuna ule mtu atapika chai, kuna wale watu wa IT, you know, a lot of, like, we're going to even work on the unemployment rate that we are having. So how I wish that we can work on that. And we actually, I want to urge our leaders, time is not lost, that we need to even work on execution or implementation. By the way, Kenya has one of the best policies in the world, but now the challenge comes in implementation. And at some point, how I wish, because now we're almost in a season or a session where we're going to be probably electing a new president or new governor. How I wish that we'll have a governor or a president, because you see, a governor is a CEO to a county, and the president the CEO to a nation. How I wish they can have a background on financial literacy, and that is why I think kidogo I think kidogo, you see, like the presidents that we've had, from Moi Kibaki, he was a finance minister. Uhuru Kenyatta was a finance minister. So I think we also need to work on the financial literacy of the leaders that we're having. And lastly, nikimalizia, there is something I just came across just the other day on mambo na finances, and this you know, I was going through mambo na easy financial literacy, na nilikuwa naona, like, if we have a person who is more into, who understands the budget making process, has that financial literacy, at some point will assist in making this nation we move to the next step as a nation. Ukiweza angalia now in terms of what I'm saying about finances, ukianza angalia right now, we see where we are having in this Kenya, that we are having right now. Nilikuwa nasoma the Standard newspaper, and it was outlining the number of financial the advisors that are in the president. At some point, one of the things that the young people were when the young people demonstrated in 2024, they were at some point asking that we need to reduce some of these cabinet secretaries. But at some point, we've had a shadow cabinet, that is the financial advisors, because as per now we are having 15 advisors. And I remember Justin Muturi, who is previous CS, and also a former AG to this country. At some point, I remember there is some point he mentioned, and he said that at some point it's like we have another cabinet, because things it is a cabinet that he has no evil or talks no evil. So you find that our you know, we even have lots of advisors, and at some point you find our wage bill even goes to a higher extent, because you see, if we have 15 cabinet if we have 15 advisors, we have 22 cabinet secretaries. At some point it seems that our cabinet the cabinet consists of almost 40 people, because you see, now we've not even counted the attorney general, we've not placed in the president, the deputy president. So at some point we have a huge cabinet that is not actually, and I will say this without fear of any contradiction, is that at some point our cabinet is not implementing whatever we elected them to do. And so I would want also to urge them that time is not lost. We still have hope, and we still believe that we can have a better future. So I would want to, you know, say thank you for this show, kwa sababu naona unaniambia maneno ya time. Sijui ni time inaisha.
Two questions for you. Paulo, ukipewa 1 billion budget ya Kenya, one, what will you prioritize? The second question, if you're the president of Kenya for one day, just a single day, what would you change usaidie young people financially?
Okay. On the part of 1 billion.
Paulo umeokoka.
Yes.
Paulo weni pasi.
Yes.
Answer that question.
So on the part of on the part of 1 billion, I think the first priority I would have is matters on health.
Sure, that's true.
Matters on health. And if I have a remainder of the 1 billion, I tackle on education.
Okay.
If I was the president of Kenya today, one thing I will do in this finance bill, one thing I'll do first of all, I would engage Kenyans on our debt, where we are, why we are there, and how we'll move from that pit that we are. Because Kenyans should know that we are trying to raise in this finance bill, because already the estimates are there, yeah, and we have a finance bill to finance those estimates. So this is the bad thing of it all. We are looking for 4.2 trillion to cover our budget. 4. I think it was reversed by the what do you call it? The CSs wakati ilipelekwa Tuesday, they settled on 4.2.
Okay.
So we are looking for 4.2
as at now.
As at now. In the 4.2, and to make the matter worse, 1 trillion is for the interest. Of our country. If I was the president of Kenya today, I would start from there. Because we are in a pit. And if we don't have this engagement, even if we shout Ruto must go, the other person who will come, actually, atainua mikono juu, atasema sitaki, because it will be bad. So, on the part of finance bill, nikimalizia, there is another green light in it. In education sector, the allocation have been increased, and the government want to concentrate more on CBC, building the CBC classes, and also TVET institutions, because the government of today is investing more on the TVET. Actually,
which is a good thing.
That is a good thing.
It's a very good
but
thing.
there is the other part of it. The principals, the head teachers, and the management of the school, watatokea, they will actually advertise. Those tenders will be advertised. Mimi na watu wengine will be there. Tutacheza hizo tenders. Mimi labda mimi nipate. I'll go in a bank. I'll borrow funds. I'll come. I'll do this work. Imalizike. And then I will have to wait because we don't have money. And this will be taken the pending bills, because as at now, as we are talking, we have a total of 680 billion on pending bills in our country. 680 billion in our country. That is why I'm saying this engagement is very much broad. So there is this language that inasemekana, the office of the president imekata pesa from 100 billion to 5 billion in the estimates that we have. But we have our leaders wanaonanga kama Kenyans ni wale tu wa kitambo.
Yeah.
So this is what they have done. We've moved actually from 100 billion to close to 150 billion. This is why this is how it have ended. The office of the president, because it is the presidency itself, have been allocated like let's say 5 billion, and there is this 2 billion. Sorry, office of the president itself iko 5 billion, but wame hiyo presidency imekatakatwa into parts, into departments. That is, there is the office of the deputy president imewekewa pesa yake, the state house imewekewa pesa yake, there is the spokesperson for government pesa yake, and wacha niguzilia hapa. Do you know last year the office of the spokesperson of the government of Kenya had an allocation of 19.2 billion.
Hey.
In these estimates, wameona spokesperson anafaa kuongea sana, anafaa kutembea sana. It have been increased to 36 billion. And the president is talking of austerity measures.
Wow.
In a state that our country is, office of the spokesperson of the government of Kenya have an allocation of 36 billion this year. Okay. There is the advisory. Unajua sasa kila mtu anaongelea kuhusu advisors. The president have been an addition of, is it Macau as a government advisor, and there is this young man, the son of Oburu Odinga, amepewa kazi ya advisor. So yes, there is an allocation. The salaries for the advisors of the office of the president, salaries for 1 year, 24 billion. Listen.
For 1 year, 24 billion.
Yes.
So meaning in a month it's 2 billion.
The salaries for the advisors. We are funding this thing as Kenyans, and these people are on the air. They are telling us there is no new taxes, but we have the estimates, and the estimate we are funding them through the Finance Bill 2025. They are advocating more on tax administration, so we will have to feel the heat to cover this. That is why, and to make the matter worse on this, or on the advisors of the president. The Salary and Remuneration Committee, the SRC of Kenya, iko na sheria inasema allowances hazifai kukua over 50% of the salary. So this is the bad thing of what is covered in this finance bill. Allowances to the advisors of the president, it is 32.2 billion. So actually they exceed even the actual salaries. So when the president is on air talking about constitutionalism, him and executive, they have this thing, wanaelewa hizi vitu. What I urge our leaders, let's engage our people. Let's listen to each other, because Kenyans are enlightened.
Thank you so much.
Unajua mimi sijawahi kaa tukaongea na Governor Kahiga, but this is one thing I would want to congratulate him. Do you know Nyeri County has no pending bills? Yeah, so hata wakiongelea hii mambo ya advisors, I wish even Governor Kahiga can be used, and I'm sure na najua ni rafiki yako, enda hata okay. Sasa mimi hiyo mambo ya wewe kutoshikiwa simu hiyo sitanini, lakini ni vizuri.
Juu ya time hii hapo kwa government spokespersons kuna pesa yao wametengewa ya training, yani kufunzwa kuongea. in the estimate what we are funding as Kenyans. And last year it was 1.2 billion. So this year
So
it is 2.3 billion. To make the matter worse, Wahoo, to fund this budget, we have to borrow more. On matters IMF and World Bank, sisi kukopeshwa, our percentage iko chini sana. So what will the government do? It will come back in the country to borrow domestically and to tax more. The moment they borrow more domestically, mimi na Wahoo hatutaweza kuenda hapa Equity kupata loan rahisi, because Equity is trusting the government more than us, because the government will be able to pay. You see? So that translates to economically huku chini Wakenya watazidi kulia. This is the bad thing of the state of our country as at now. And we are praying for more engagement. Let our leaders come into the limelight. Tuongee, tusikizane, we forge the way forward for our country. As the young people of this nation, we are ready for these engagements. And we are very much ready for sober engagement. And we'll give the way forward for our country.
Lawi, 30 seconds, please. Time imeisha.
Something that I actually, he has echoed one of the things that I said, that according to the comparison between Vietnam, Singapore versus Kenya, that we have our leaders are waking up 5 a.m. to work on their speeches, whereas Vietnam and Singapore, they are working on execution. So at some point, we really at some point sympathize with the situation. But we as young people, we need to we need to work on this. There is a quote, and there is a friend of mine anaitwa Royal Njeri, hata leo ndio nimejua anaitwa Penina. She was telling me, there is this quote she mentioned, and she was saying that when you're a hammer, it is your time to hit hard, because when you are when you're the nail, that's nice, no one will have mercy on you. So this is one thing that I want to urge the young people, we work on that. Na kwa sababu Wahoo na kuangalia hapa, na nimekumbuka one thing I need to shout out my mother. She's one of the pillars that I have. Nimekaa hivi, not that you're that motherly. I was in extension, and I will want to wish you a happy Mother's Day in advance. That is on Sunday. Ndio bana nimesema nikikuangalia then nikakumbuka mama yangu. So I want to wish you a happy Mother's Day. I have friends I know who've been watching, na by the way, kwa mkiongezea sponsors, is a friend of mine leo tulikuwa naye anaitwa Kevin Kafue, anajulikana kama Nanika, na amesema ile time nataka kufanya show tunaweza enda pale Kilele launch pale Chaka hapo. So na niko sure amekusalimia pia. There is a friend of mine huyo Irene Nyothaya, who was your classmate, tulikuwa naye, na najua nikitoka hapa kama sijawasalimia nitapigwa sana. Pia kuna rafiki yangu anaitwa Joki Ambati, Morgan Kafiro, na pia nimeona Benta Mkenya bingwa is watching, na amesema wewe ungempe shout out kama ungekuwa namkumbuka, but sawa, but he's saying he's watching live from Wamunyoro, and ni vizuri pia nikumbusha watu that I was at Wamunyoro on Sunday, and at some point ile kazi sasa yenye nataka ni ati nikuwe bodyguard ama security wa watu wa Kamako Mokaro, ensure that finances za Kamako Mokaro zinaangaliwa vizuri and execute them vizuri. So hiyo ndio kazi tunatafuta, na Mungu akitujalia tutakuwa pale. Wakinipatia hiyo kazi hiyo kiti, mimi nitakuwa pale so that I can execute and not work on the speeches. So nashukuru sana. Wewe umefundishwa kuongea ama utapelekwa pale and then uanze kufundisha? Wacha nikuambie Wahoo, you know sometimes watu mnaonanga nika how are you even trained to kuongea? Mimi by the way Wahoo, I would want to comment communication skills. Well, that's something. As I was saying, I want to congratulate Nyeri Mohoro News Hub and Purity Wanjiko Ngugi, because of these platforms that you're giving us, because I'm very sure now we are able, and these are the things that this sitaki kuwaita hiyo jina ningewaita, but the leaders that we are having as per now, hizi ndizo vitu wangekuwa naangalia. Try and inasemekananga penye nia pana njia. Kama uko na nia ya kujua to work on your communication skills, use such platforms, and I will say mimi kutoka the first show yenye nilikuja hapa where I am, my communication skills zina grow, na najua hii itanisaidia kwa sababu kama watu wa Kamaka Mokaro wanajua kuna kitu tuliagana na wao, na tuliagana ile kazi yenye tu the current MCA anafanya ni kwenda bunge. Hii maneno ingine ya representation waliniachia. So ndio maana najaribu nikae hapa niangalie on my communication, ndio nikienda pale bunge speaker naweza ambia bwana speaker that I have a standing order according to standing order, hivyo na niweze kumaneuver and ensure that the people of Kamako Mokaro wamepata kile ambacho wa deserve. And pia nikimalizia ni vizuri niongelee mambo ya it comes even to financing. Let us not only depend on government finances. Let us work on partnerships. We can be able, like something, and something that people need to do is that there is a lot that you can do through partnership. Today, Wahoo, I know you an investor na Mungu amekusaidia. When I sit down with the investors from Kamako Mokaro, there is a lot that you can do. Actually, I'm from your constituency. You are from my ward, and yeah. Najua ukiniangalia unaniona ni kama ni an MP. Unajua ni mimi nakuvutia wewe. Na ndio nasema. Unajua vote moja ikikosa yangu utakuwa umepita baba. Actually siangalii kuvote yako moja because I know who you can mobilize lots of votes, and kuongea nitaongea na wewe vizuri. Yeah, na pia wewe. Well, yeah, nitakuisha happy Mother's Day as a mother, because I know you're a mother. Yes, I am. And I've interacted your son. You have a very brilliant son. Yeah, and ni kweli. Na pia sasa you also a motivation to, I have friends kama Masi wa Nyeri Mohoro Hub. I'm sure you become you're a role model, so kwa hivyo hata yataangalia. So lastly ningependa kusalimia na Brenda pale nje ako huko nje, so pia ningependa kusalimia watu wote wa Kamako Mokaro na niwaambie na wapenda, na Mungu akitujalia mimi ndio nitakuwa nimewasimamia. Saa hii mimi ndio acting MCA, na Mungu akitujalia 2027 mimi ndio nitakuwa MCA. Asante sana, Mungu awabariki.
And mmefurahia sana wa Mnyoro, I saw you.
Niliona huyu kijana.
On Sunday.
On Sunday. Ulikuwa wapi? I was expecting to see you.
Skiza.
Why as a young man I am naenda wa Mnyoro?
Hiyo utajibu. Hiyo ni next Thursday.
So the mic is mine.
Ushasema asante.
The mic is mine. So this is the thing.
Hapana.
This is the thing. Wahoo.
Tutasalimia.
The political elite of this country are rearranging themselves.
Hawajaseto bado.
Are rearranging themselves. The camp of Ruto, Raila, they are rearranging themselves.
Wako tu hapa.
The camp of Matiang'i, Kalonzo, Rigathi are rearranging themselves. What is making us as the young people who think that we have the solution of this country not to rearrange ourselves and have one voice for our country? Because these people have been in government positions and they've not brought the change that we are yearning for. So it is my urge, young people, believe in yourself. Wamunyoro, Ruto, all those people are not the change. You are the change yourself.
And just to point out, I did not say
because I do not believe there is change. Kuna mtu aliniambia one thing, as a leader, it is an opportunity for you to change people's lives. So there are strengths that we see in our leaders who are realigning, and their weaknesses. There is a SWOT analysis. There are weaknesses that we see in them, and for you to also be impactful. There is someone nilikuwa na pitia JKL. on Wednesday, and there's this young man, student leader, I guess, alikuwa anasema about he thinks that the young people we have not organized ourselves, and that is the reason as to why we might see some things that are happening, or things that are happening will still be the same things that were happening to us in 2027. And what we need to do as young people is shape, realign, and it is not about Lewis being the leader, it is about the change that we are giving these people. Let us be impactful. So when I go to Wamonyoro, I am not going just because I am going to support an individual. No, I am going to make sure that we are having a change. We can even change those leaders that we are having, because you see right now we are talking about young people. We have believed in ourselves, and that is why I am seated here. So if I can believe myself, that is a debate.
So thank you so much, Lewis. Thank you so much, Paulo, for coming and watching. Naona kina Royal Njeri, Kevin Kafue, Lily Cubs, Benson Joke.
Kevin Kafue ndio mwenye nimekuambia
Wakilele. Nice. Anasema na watch from Wamunyoro. I'm seeing Maina Mwaniki, Captain Horace, Josh Mwangi, a lot of people watching. I really appreciate that is on my page. Na wenye pia wako kwa Nyeri Mohoro News Hub, akina Isaac Mbogwa, I really appreciate your support, guys, and thank you so much for watching and for following. We'll be back here next week on Thursday with another hot topic yenye tutakuwa tukiongelelea. But then again, I would want to tell you or to leave you with one word. This finance bill is very technical kulingana na venye nimeisoma na venye nimeifeel, but sana sana inaguzia our pockets, our dreams and our future. So stay informed, stay engaged. Ukipata chance ya kusoma hiyo finance bill, pitia, ndio wewe ukianza kuargue, you're arguing from a point of I know, I've read it, I've seen it, I've touched it. Nimeichambua. I was talking to Mercy and Brenda. Mercy and Brenda are very beautiful young girls here. Wanakwanga huku kwa Nyeri Mohoro News Hub kwa ofisi. And I was asking them, what have you read in the finance bill? Have you seen the finance bill? And they were telling me they've read it. Heri wisome pole pole, but ikifika ile time tutaanza kuargue, you have something to say, you have something to add or to remove. So thank you also to everybody who's watching. I really appreciate everyone. Thank you, Lewis, for always showing up. Thank you, Paulo, for not tiring. Nikikuita unakuja tena. Next week we are looking for another panel. We'll sit down and have another baraza. So until next Thursday, God bless you guys and may God do you well. Na kila kitu tahitaji Mungu akupe. God bless you. My name is Wahu. I'm signing out.